Yo, I'm old. True. Actually, I gotta try and figure out something real quick. I don't really know. Does anybody know? Here's my problem. You know when you have your taskbar at the bottom of the screen? When you open up a window, does your window get cut off by the taskbar? Like, as an example, say I have Discord open, and I make Discord full screen, but the send a message portion, like the little chat box that you type in, is cut off because of the taskbar. Is there a way to change that? Or is it supposed to be that way? I don't think it's supposed to be that way, actually. I'm looking at it now. Nope. Oh, it's working now. Before it didn't work. Never mind, we're good. No, it worked. It was a weird bug. Because I have a mini monitor right here. You can't see it. And then I have a monitor here and here. And this monitor in particular, this little small one, I would blow up the Discord window or any application, and it would just cut it off completely at the bottom. It's good, though. It's good. I guess it was a bug. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. This PC, though, was Windows 10. My other PC was forcefully upgraded to 11, which is trash. Windows 11 is so bad. Just because we're not used to it, and if we're not used to it, we don't like it. That's typically how that shit works, right? But it's not the best. Leagues of O10 is the 4th least played faction. People don't like dwarves. People don't like the not human, clearly not human cloned short people. I gotta move some stuff. Pretty sure they had their, like, here's the thing about tournaments. Do you think people go there with good intentions? Mostly, as in play what you like? Or are people going there to win? Because, like, Leagues of O10, I know aren't very good. So it kind of begs the question, why go to a tournament with something that isn't good unless you love it? Do for budget? I mean, people have multiple armies. People don't only play one army. I never understood trying to do... The weirdest thing to me is people who compete, but only compete with what's good. Like, that to me is the most bizarre thing ever. Because in my mind, if you like something, just get good. Get good enough to make it better. Like, I know dice rolling isn't Zangief, right? Like, Snake Eyes is... He could potentially win the Capcom Cup, or, holy shit, the Capcom Cup with Geef as, like, a low-tier, dog-shit, bottom 3 character against, like, God knows how many good characters, and it's all because he just got good at the game, right? You sit there, you get better, you figure out different strategies and how the game works, you know, in Geef's favor, potentially. But people don't want to do that. And I don't know if Warhammer is 100% entirely the same thing, but, like, I'd never give up on something if it was bad. That's kind of a lame excuse. It's like, oh yeah, the army's not good. Well, they might not be as good, but you can still win with them. If you like them, play them. If you don't like them, and you don't want to play them, that's totally valid. You know? Don't do something you won't enjoy as a hobby. But, like, for tournaments like that, I'm sure it's all sweat. Yeah, it's all grease. Vape, yo, buddy. Yeah, that is all try-hard, sweaty shit. Which is so boring. I've never understood competitive gaming. I've never understood competitive games where you have so many options, but you choose the least. You choose the one that doesn't like. It doesn't come from a good place. It comes from like I'm better than everyone because I'm competing with this character type of place, if that makes sense. Jesus, yo, buddy. Gene Stealer Cult is an S-tier faction. I got no clue, man. I don't even... Their mechanics are interesting. I think they have, like... most of their army just deep strikes, right? Sorry, I gotta clean this desk. Yo, yo, yo. This is fun here, actually. Grain Pain, thank you, man. We have to put away stuff. I've been trying to clean this room up for the last few days, and it's kind of getting there. It's kind of getting there, but there's still a bunch of shit I want to get done. It's not 100% yet. But yeah, when it comes to competitive gaming in Warhammer, though, I'm not really well versed. I know people kind of go to different tournaments and shit like every month or something like that, but that is that's a different level of commitment that I don't think I would want to be a part of. Okay. Different reasons to play games. Different takes. Some people... The craziest thing to me is when people view Warhammer as more of a game and less of a hobby. Like, I guess I can understand it in some regard, but at the same time, it's like... Shouldn't you just go play a video game at that point, you know? Nah, I don't do that. I don't... That's like being a competitive Monopoly player. But that's just my take. This shit in here. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this real quick. Statue collecting? Yeah. But, I mean, your name is Venomverse. I assume Marvel, but I don't really do Marvel. I did... The only thing comic book related, I actually did Marvel for a little bit, but very little. And then I got out of that because Marvel wasn't really my thing. But, like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, shit like that, yeah. Went to one tournament where I just finished my Adeptus Mechanicus army, but afterwards I realized I had more fun at my local spot. Oh, for sure. I mean, you know the people locally. Tournaments are just these big events where you're timed, and everything is go, 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 go for numbers type of deal. Like, it doesn't feel very homey. It just feels more of you're going to work. If that makes sense. I mean, of course it's different person to person, but you're there for a reason. Right? Like, you could go there and play casually and all that shit. That's great. I'm sure that's what a lot of people do to get accustomed to going to tournaments anyways, is you play your first or second just very nonchalant, whatever. But, you know, playing locally versus going to a tournament where you pay money and all this shit to play, people are greasy as fuck. People will always be, just, like, very douchey about it as well. I remember I played on Tabletop Sim. So, when you go play Tabletop Sim Warhammer games through the Discord, there are different options. So, like, you can say, like, hashtag fucking competitive, hashtag casual, hashtag for fun, whatever, testing a list. And I would typically do casual and competitive to just try and get games as fast as I could. And I found a competitive orc player. And holy fuck, he was just a douche for no reason. I played orcs, he played orcs. And I think I had moved a squad of boys, like, half an inch further on accident, or, like, they were over terrain or something, and this guy was yelling at me. He's like, you fucking cheating right in front of my face, you know, like, this is competitive Warhammer, how dare you do this shit, blah, blah, blah. He just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Very, like, oddball behavior, just douchey, especially for an orc player, because, like, I've never seen that. Typically, if you play orcs, you just don't give a fuck. You're there to have fun, and this guy was doing this shit over Discord. Like, imagine at an event if you're that much of a cunt. But, whatever. Marvel is definitely a rabbit hole. Yeah, Marvel is so big in, like, the whole comic game, the statue game, toys. Marvel is, like... There's something, like, every month for Marvel. You could own 5 billion statues if you wanted to and still not be done. Anyways, I gotta downsize some old bins. These are just literal hammer bits. Hammer parts, Longbeard parts. I went through my storage unit, and I pulled out a bunch of cool shit. Let me try and, post it on Discord. I'll pull it over. So I went through my storage unit, and I was finding, like, all these, like, older bits. Like, these are not old pieces, but they're... At one point, I cut them out and was gonna make hammers or something. That's long past. But the one thing I'm glad I didn't do, and I don't know if people do this, but, like, I wouldn't throw away your boxes. Just a personal opinion. Like, you know, do whatever you want. But, I'm kind of glad I kept boxes. Because now I have a shelf of, like... It's a very big picture. I have a shelf of, like, all my older dwarf boxes. I still have, like, 30 of these things lying around, too. But, like, I fucking love these things, you know? They'd kind of be, like, lining Games Workshop, store tops and all this crap, so... I thought that was cool. The newer stuff's not as, like, appealing, but it's good to it's good to see shit like that again, especially if it's from your childhood. The good old days. All right. I never owned any miniatures. I own too many miniatures. Like, I have so many... Too much. So many pieces. Yeah. I mean, the artwork is just... Well, they used to do better box arts. They used to do way better box arts. I moved them all out of this room, actually, but they would do the drawn box arts where they'd have, like, artwork of characters and the, you know, units, the people inside the box. And then they kind of shifted to, like, the miniatures. But I still kind of miss the artwork ordeal with the box arts, just because it kind of, like, it just helped your brain kind of imagine what they could look like instead of what they look like on the tabletop, right? Like, if these things were real, this is what they would be. It just paints a good mental image as to how the universe should look, especially when everything is just a tiny piece of plastic. Tongue punch, thank you, man. Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good, brother. We have to organize the fuck out of this, and I'm probably out of room. But oh well. GW. Games Workshop paints. Were these ever cleaned? These weren't even cleaned. Whenever I tried to do this, I never finished them. It seems. I kind of sorted them to be done, but they never got done. It's weird. I think the only other paint brand I'd decide to use would be, maybe Vallejo. Average game is about 2 hours, I think. They can be much less. If you're getting shit stomped and you just want to kind of like quit and give up, I don't blame you. But yeah, typically 2 hours. Because a lot of that time is spent phase to phase, moving individual miniatures, like going back and looking at the rules, just kind of taking your time to think about your next move, since everything is done in turns. So, you know, you could, I don't know how long each turn is. Maybe at a tournament it's like 5 minutes each or something. Probably much more. But you gotta move, shoot, do all these actions, roll dice for combats. You're going through a whole, like, crucible for one phase, and you do that phase repeatedly, and the other person does it as well. So it's kind of, it's very back and forth. Very, very back and forth. But it is fun. As much as it might not sound fun, it's fun when you're doing it. Like, I think the only person I've ever seen made, like, watching paint dry fun was probably Bob Ross. But Warhammer is pretty much watching paint dry. When you watch it, it is not exciting, in my opinion. But when you're playing it, it's so cool. But I think the one big thing to make it more intriguing, and I guess more, like, viewer-friendly, is if there was editing and if they made it more cinematic-y, I suppose. I always thought that could be a decent way to make the game a little bit more viewer-friendly. You know, go in, do some goofy fucking animations, do anything, put a soundtrack. Like, if you watched a bare-bones Warhammer game get played through Twitch, it's just not fun. And that's not, you know, I'm not ragging on anyone who does that, but it's not fun. Edited Warhammer content goes a long way compared to what it actually is, because a lot of it's not a spectator sport. It's not. But it can be. You know, I think one of the best channels who makes it more of a spectator sport would be Play on Tabletop. Like, if you want to watch a Warhammer game get played, go watch Play on Tabletop, because they make it more cinematic-y, instead of just, like, sitting here rolling dice and that's it, you know? Because you want to be involved in the universe, you know? You want to be put into the battle, if you could be. Not literally, but as a viewer. Yeah, Play on Tabletop makes it very fun to watch. Actually, it does. I like their content. They're Canadian, too. I could probably go play them if I ever had an army. I just hit them up and we do a YouTube video. Good, do it. They do. I think there's a big tournament going on right now. I don't know how much money's involved, but You'll probably have to look it up. I don't even know if there is money involved. Oh, no, it's a YouTube channel. It's called Play on Tabletop. Or 40K in 40 minutes or something. Oh, the personalities as well. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, it's like if you're watching a Warhammer game, and all you're doing is rolling dice and moving miniatures, and the people doing that are kind of like bricks. You know, we're rolling dice. Like, it's me playing League of Legends, but instead playing like that, right? It's not that exciting. It isn't that good. But typically when you make YouTube videos, you kind of have to ham it up. You know, not everyone is that bubbly when they're just talking or doing anything in general. Some people are, sure. But it does make good content, or for good content, I should say. So, I like their stuff. I like the more, again, involved cinematic-y. You're adding an extra layer to the viewers to kind of enjoy. Because, to be fair, a lot of people getting into Warhammer have no idea what the fuck it is. No, it is... I mean, the biggest reason people don't want to do tabletop is because it's expensive. It's very expensive. And it's expensive, it takes a lot of time and commitment, and it's a very social, physical, out-there hobby where you could do it from the comfort of your own home and make a vast army and, you know, figure things out on your own, but, like, the true enjoyment for most people is getting out there, seeing other people's armies, talking Warhammer, you know, being there in person, like fighting games. You know, typically when they've got fighting game tournaments or locals and shit like that, a lot of people go, right? Not so much to play the game, but like it's the experience, it's everything that comes together to make it enjoyable. And that's Warhammer. You know, Warhammer is a very social game. Yeah, I mean, you're surrounded by people with similar interests. That's why I'm saying, like, if you go out and you mingle with people who are interested in what you like, it's probably more enjoyable than going to Walmart and having small talk with, like, the cashier. You know? You share a common interest, a passion, and it can go wherever. And right now, a lot of people are actually getting into Warhammer, so there's even more interest. A lot more than there was before. Because Warhammer's kind of hitting the mainstream pretty big. Games, movies, or Henry Cavill, you know. So, Warhammer just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's gaining more popularity day by day. But this hobby's been around for ages. People have been doing this shit forever. It has been absolutely forever. Discord. I'm in a Warhammer Discord. It's a fantasy one. It's kind of popping, but like, I think the ones that are more lively are the 40K ones. Always do the small talk with the food sample lady. What the 40K makes thematic battles, narrates over the fight. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. Again, it adds to it. The big thing is that you're enjoying it, and the people around you are enjoying it, because it's an experience that everyone kind of has together. It's not just you playing alone, you're playing with other people. But I think those, I think when it comes to forums and Warhammer groups, like people who talk, I'm pretty sure a lot of it is done through Discord, to be honest. I don't think those independent forums are thriving at all anymore, because that was when Discord or public, like, chat services weren't around, that would bring people together. Like, Discord is for everything, right? But the older forums, at least from what I can remember, were very for something. The fuck? They were very for something, you know? Before Discord existed. Yeah, exactly. They had a dwarf one. They still post on it. I'm on there a little bit. I browse around it, but it was the Bugman's Brewery forum, I believe. That was all dwarf shit. Like, holy fuck, that's a massive old school forum that people still browse. Yeah, Total War did a good job. I got into it this year. Yeah, a lot of people are getting into it, like, quite recently. I mean, again, like, who would have thought at any point you would see Warhammer in Walmart? That's how far it's come. I went into Walmart today to buy spray paint for my mom, and they don't have the miniatures, but they have the toys. Like, I went down the toy section because I always do. I'm a, you know, and just to take a look, and they've got like McFarlane Warhammer toys. It's not the miniatures, but it's still very impressive that, like, for how niche Warhammer was for so long, you can find it in fucking Walmart, of all places. Which is crazy. That's impressive. Is Darktide worth buying? I bought it on release. It wasn't that worthwhile just because there wasn't any content. I would say now maybe because they've added so much to it, so I would maybe give it a shot right now. But on release, I would have never recommended it. It is beside the Fortnite stuff. Yeah. Unironically. Unironically. Okay. Vermintide 2 is worth 100%. If you're gonna get one of the games, Vermintide or Darktide, get Vermintide. Vermintide is so complete. Like, that is a game that has content. Darktide, the problem with it is just there's nothing to do. You beat the game and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm done. And of course you'll have, like, people who love it and will swear by, oh, there's so much to do, but Darktide, man? Not really. Darktide 1.0 is finally coming out. It needs content. It needs something. There's just nothing to do in the game. They still update Vermintide. It's a pretty good gig. Okay, Drake guns. Let's organize the Drake guns. What are they adding to Darktide as a class? What can you be? More maps? Yeah, I mean, the thing about Darktide, though, is the gameplay loop, in my opinion, those games, at one point, I loved, but, like, it is the same fucking thing over and over again. Like, I say that having played League for 8 years straight, but Darktide is like a hack and slash, like, meat grinder for every single mission you play. It's like the same experience. It's kind of hard to explain, again, having played League for so long, and it's the exact same thing every fucking time. Skill tree, yeah, they talked about doing, like, RPG-related things in Darktide, to where you can kind of, like, customize your character to your liking, which is very nice, because, again, if you play as a random individual, why would you not have that feature to begin with? Why is there no RPG element to a game where every single person is 100% their own character? It's not like Barden, it's not fucking Kruber, it's not the Vermintide cast that are all established characters. Although you do get RPG in that a little bit. I'm sure with what they do with Darktide, it'll be much better. More advanced. I think it's like skill path you choose that'll benefit the squad. I'm pretty sure it's maybe something like that, but also benefiting the individual, hopefully. Did you see the Starfield PC release reminded of playing Callisto? It's not good? I hear shit on Twitter. Everyone on Twitter is complaining about pronouns in the custom character creation thing. Yeah, I got no words for that game, though. I just don't have an interest. Like, I heard of what is it called? Starfield? I heard of Starfield when it was pretty much released, maybe like a week prior, and I never had an interest in playing it. It's just not my game. Too much of a commitment. Looks like a Bethesda game with all the pros and cons. Well, Bethesda typically does pretty alright, no? I feel like Bethesda doesn't fuck up as much as, like Blizzard is just a fuck. Like, that is... Blizzard is... I haven't looked at a Blizzard product in ages. Last time I heard about Blizzard, people were stealing women's titty milk out of the local fucking fridge and drinking it. That's the shit that goes down at Blizzard. Like, I don't know. Overwatch 2. That's another good one. Bunch of weird shit. When I used to play, I would transport them in the GW foam cases. Still got them, too. My name's on it. What, the titty milk thing? No, that's a real thing. There was a woman who had a baby, and she had to go to work because she had no one to take care of it. And she put her, like, milk in a mini fridge, and someone stole it. Blizzard employees, by the way. Good group of people. Great bunch of people. Homelander. They released Overwatch 2 for the story mode. Why even release another? That's like saying we're releasing League of Legends 2. That's just a fucking shit cash grab. Just update the fucking bait. Why would you not? Let me ask you this. Logically, what was the reasoning behind making Overwatch 2? What was the reason? Because the only thing I can think of is money. That's it, right? Like, what else would it be? But you can't, like, are you really that strapped for money? You're Blizzard Entertainment. It's weird. That is a weird... It's the same game. Yeah, but you pay... How much... Someone go on Steam right now and tell me how much Overwatch 2 is. And you pay for Overwatch 1 as well, right? They made it for the story they canned? Well, I want to know how much you pay for that shit, because you know people bought it. Like, oh, it's free. Oh, so you don't pay. So then how the hell do you make money out of it? How do you make money out of something that's free? Like, the skins? Clearly the skins? Okay, now I gotta figure out these arms. Skins for $37. Overwatch 2 is a 9% positive review. The thing about these games, though, is League of Legends is 100% free. The only money they make is through skins from that game. So take that, do with it what you will. But, like, you could realistically play these games without spending a dime. I haven't spent money on League in forever. Of course, I'm part of the partner program, but, like, even if I wasn't, the last purchase I made, I think with my own money that I bought, was Ruined Gangplank from the Ruin King game, right? Betrayer Gangplank, not Ruin Gangplank, Betrayer. That's the only thing I spent money on. One account, one skin, done. It's good to be very hard-headed and very dead set in what you like, because if you're someone who enjoys everything, like as Venomverse said before, he's talking about statues. If you're a Marvel fan and you love everything, you're fucked. If you're a League of Legends fan and you love everything, you're fucked. If you're a Star Wars fan and you love everything, you're fucked. Like, these companies will put out a shit ton of stuff for you to buy, digital, physical, anything, any type of medium. And if you got the funds and you're passionate, like, think of the people who play League characters that typically get, like, anime waifu skins, and just imagine how many they go through with buying, right? Like, oh, another patch is here, another skin to buy on 4 accounts, and the chroma. It's like, man, I know they're not that expensive, but you're still paying a little bit. Remove loot boxes for a battle pass. They made Overwatch 2 so they could remove their loot box system and make you spend egregious amounts on skins instead. Yeah, Jin kind of got a bad rap with that new skin. I don't blame people for hating it. $200 for a chroma shite. Hey, man. Thing with these companies, though, is whether or not they know what the fans want, they still will release things that will sell a fuck ton of stuff. Right? Like, let me ask you this. What's the last thing you bought? Because probably the last thing you bought, as long as it's not like Starfield or something, there's probably 20 other things you want from that one thing you purchased. Right? Like, oh, I bought a skin in League, but I would buy 20 more if I had the money. And so you save the money to buy 20 more. Jin skins are normally good. Most League skins are pretty good. Lock down 1 or 2 characters you like and hone in on that. Big Venom and Carnage. Yeah, you're going to spend shit. There's so many companies putting out statues and merchandise, especially for Marvel. Marvel is just huge on merchandise. Ezreal is a scam. There's a lot of Ezreal skins, I find. People like the character for whatever reason. I don't see... There is zero appeal into Ezreal outside of the whole, I'm gonna go be an archaeologist and find shit, or whatever the hell he does, right? Outside of that, dude's a... Like, that's a 0 out of 10, buddy. Bro looks like Slender Man with, like, a boy band haircut, and he jumps around. I'm good, bro. A scam in terms of skins, well, people love... There's just so many of them. If there's a million Ezreal fans, they're gonna make more skins for Ezreal. I've played 40k, AOS, Fantasy, Middle-earth, Blood Bowl. Never played Necromunda, never played Kill Team, never played Warcry, or the niche games. I play it. We do play the video game, or not the video games. Well, I play games, like video games, but also tabletop. Yeah, why? As in Lux have 20 skins each or more. They're just easily marketable. People like them. You can't blame your audience for liking something. If they like it, they like it. It's like, oh well. I mean, it's like Irelia, Akali. Those characters typically will bring in the bank. You know, you're not releasing a fucking Tom Kench skin with his titties hanging out and expecting a million people to buy it, because you could do that with Evelyn 50,000 times over and make billions of dollars. Well, it's not even that they're like the poster like child for League. It's just they're not very interesting characters, and I find a lot of people don't like interesting things. As what's the word? As hipsterish as that might sound. Like, a lot of people play some pretty uninteresting League characters. But it's subjective. It's all subjective. Subjective banter. Yeah, I played a bit of 9th. I played a shit ton of 9th when it first came out, and then I stopped that and I went back to Age of Sigmar. Kill Team for me is cool because I get to like make interesting looking miniatures. And even though I love dwarves, I think my first Kill Team wouldn't even be a dwarf one, it'd be a guard one. But I do like the small scale idea of Kill Team. More personalized, more kind of individual miniature based. Kill Team is like a skirmish game. It's like 10 minis against 10 minis, or I think Space Marines are like 3 or 4. They're small skirmishes with like literally 10 or less miniatures. Yeah, but they focus on the individual more than like, say, 40k. Because 40k is, you know, one squad is a kill team. So each guy being loaded out with different weapons, you know, different actions, things like that. Khazarkin kill team. I would do the basic Cadian kill team. I wouldn't do the Khazarkins. I don't even know if the basic kill team is supported. I guess I could use the Khazarkin rules, but I know exactly what I want to do with it, if I ever get into it. It's a single unit. It's a single squad, but each model in the squad is more unique. They're all, like, individuals. Dwarf Fortress soundtrack? No, I haven't heard that. Think of, best way to put it is, you know the Orc Commandos? How every Orc Commando has a different gun, different, like, grenades or whatever the fuck you have going on? That squad of the Commandos, I believe, was initially for Kill Team, but of course it'd be for 40k as well. But that's how you can kind of view it as, right? Everyone is an individual, but it's a squad. They can all function on their own, and they all kind of have different abilities and do different things. Bring a max 30 guardsmen to a kill team? That's funny. I think the Khazarkin rules would be more up my alley. I find current Games Workshop offerings I don't purchase. I'm just not really... I'll say this. It is very hard for me to buy a Games Workshop kit and then build the kit as it's intended and use it as it's intended. Like, if I was to make a kill team, which at one point I even 3D printed and modeled my own stuff. I was going to do an Aliens Colonial Marine kill team. So it'd be, you know, a squad of guard. All of them would be individualized. Their armor would look slightly different. They'd have, like, the shoulder lamps illuminating certain areas and stuff like that. So I can never really... like, looking at a box, I love the universe. Like, I like 40k. I like Age of Sigmar. But I can't seem to build them from the box. Like, even the Leagues of Votann, I was kind of, like, crafting up some sort of conversion or trying to individualize each Votann unit. But I can't crack Votann. Votann's a little weird because all of them are just the fucking same. They're all in the same suits. The only thing different is their face. And that's not fun for me. I'd rather have, like, somewhat of a customization going on, but I don't know how to do it yet. What the hell is this channel? Nobody knows. Lancer rule. I don't know what the Lancer rule is. If that's from, like, 40k. I haven't played a game of 40k in fucking forever, man. I want a 3D printed pulse rifle. I'm very big into aliens. I've collected aliens for forever. Like, I've got movie props, screen use stuff, like life-size smart gun, pulse rifles, flamethrowers. Aliens is my favorite movie of all time. I've collected shit into my youth and then into my later life. So, I love Aliens so much. It's really fucking cool. Everything they did with that movie is fucking badass. It's all badass. Smart gun. I don't have any pictures of it. It's in storage as well. It's a big... It's not like... Because the smart guns were made from MG42s. There are people who build them with found parts, like legitimate non-functioning firearms, but they're used, or rather created like the movies, where it was just a bunch of kit-bashed parts from, like, Kawasaki motorcycles and sometimes toy airplanes and shit like that. But the one I have is just a statue. It's like a big polystone, heavy fucking... It's got, like, foam around the handles and shit like that, but... Colonial Marine Space Station 13 server. I have no idea what that is. Alien or Aliens? I'm 100% Aliens. Alien's a great movie, but the Colonial Marines are, like, one of my all-time favorite, if not my favorite sci-fi thing. I eventually want to commission a guy to build me a full Colonial Marine getup. Because that's the only thing I could ever... Like, my girlfriend's gotten into, like, cosplaying recently, and I've been kind of eyeing and looking around for, like, Colonial Marine gear, because, you know, I wouldn't mind going as one. And there's people who make it. The guy who made the originals for the movie still fucking hammers out every piece for customers, you know, very big price tag, and you're gonna wait 6 or 7 years, so that's not gonna happen. But... It's very fucking cool. That's my favorite movie. Correct answer. I mean, I would say Alien is probably more... I think people like Alien more than Aliens. New Alien movies coming out, are you gonna... it's like, what, Aliens Romulus? I'll be watching it, but I went back and recently watched, I think, Covenant and another one, but, like, it's just not that good. Nothing can top Aliens. In my mind, Alien and Aliens are just, like, perfect first movie, beyond perfect sequel, you could end it there. Alien 3 is hot fucking steamy shit. Alien Resurrection is an even bigger pile of shit. And then... like, whatever the other two were, I don't know, bro. They never went back to the Colonial Marines. That was one of the coolest parts of the movie, was all the Marines in their getup going down to LV-426, walking around the corridors, all their gear. They're just a bunch of fucking, like... It's just so good. It's such a good movie. Big macho Space Marines getting their shit kicked in 3 seconds in. Like, it's just so... The gear, man. The gear. I've studied all their gear. Like, I know all the specific insignias and pieces of, like, personalized bits all over their armor. It's just... It is very consuming once you love something so much. Because the way it worked was... each Colonial Marine, there was 10 Marines, and then the 2 pilots, Spunkmeyer and Pharaoh, and the 10 Marines got to customize, and I think the other 2 as well, they got to customize their armor. So they were handed a suit, there was a big table, and on the table there was a bunch of materials, and they basically said, go at it. So, you know, some people put hearts, some people had flowers, Bill Paxton Hudson had, like, googly eyes, and his crotch said contents under pressure. Just a bunch of, like, really goofy, fun, I think it was, like, Vietnam era, you know, little personalized bits of armor that the cast kind of made their own. And it's just cool to see details like that, man. Yeah, quit your grinning and drop your linen. Found him. Dude, Bill Paxton passing was so shit. He had heart surgery, and there was complications, and he died. It was so bad. That sucked. Because I don't know if you've seen, like, videos of them at conventions, but when they're all together on one panel, everyone is so happy, dude. All these people are doing, like, they're quoting shit, and they're all smiling, and they just love it, man. It was, you know, I haven't seen or met Bill Paxton in person, but, like, you could tell he loved the character, and he loved what he did, so. I wish there was more good content like Aliens Fireteam. Aliens Fireteam was amazing. Aliens Dark Descent is fucking phenomenal. Aliens Dark Descent was so damn good, and very faithful to Aliens, specifically. But I never beat the game. The Neil Blomkamp Alien Project, that never came to fruition. That would have been fucking cool. Because, you know, they took... It's okay to have all the Marines die, but, like, leave Hicks. Hicks was retconned out of Aliens, Alien 3, because he was put into Colonial Marine. He was put into Colonial Marines, the shitty game that fucking Gearbox put out. What a travesty that was. And, he apparently lived. But... trying to get into the Alien series. Start with Alien, then watch Aliens. Alien is a slow burn... like, they call it a haunted house in space type of deal. But you'll see... Aliens is just so good. I have no words for that movie. It's just so fucking good. I think Aliens, for me, is, like, the best... Well, it's for sure my favorite film. Or The Thing, John Carpenter's. I've read some of the Dark Horse stuff. I'm actually getting back into comics recently because they're so cheap. They're like $3 to $4 each. The ones that I'm going after, like the older Dark Horse Aliens, they have, like, the Dark Horse Star Wars stuff. I don't think that lasted too long. But they're all, like, peanuts. People don't buy them anymore. People want them gone. It's just laying around. The game over quote, truly iconic. Everything just sticks with that movie, man. Everything just... Aliens period is just sick. It's a badass set of movies. Well, 2. The universe is cool. I really wish they would have expanded upon, you know, the space jockey? Whatever fucking Ridley Scott decided to do with the space jockey, what a shit idea. I was really hoping the space jockey would have been its own alien, which it was in the comics and it was in the games. But it ended up just being an engineer. An engineer in a very large spacesuit, it seems. So, I really like the idea that there was more aliens out there, right? Because the mystery of, like, what the hell is this elephant-looking creature? Why is there a hole in his chest? Like, what's this cargo? What's this gun? It's interesting that they went back and explained a bit of it, but the fact that everything is an alien or everything is an engineer is just lame. Alien is rated R. 100% it's rated R. In space, no one can hear you scream. Just good movies, man. Fucking love Aliens. I know a lot of, what's really cool is that authors will come back, and there was actually a book released, I think recently, I should probably go pick it up. It was, the prequel to Vasquez. It's her upbringing, like how she got into the Colonial Marines and all this shit. Maybe it's a few years old. I don't fucking know. But it's really cool to see stuff like that where people are still passionate about something, even though it came out 30, 40, 50, 60, however long years ago, and they want more information on that stuff, you know, because you don't really know much about the Colonial Marines outside of what they show you on screen, and what they show you on screen sometimes isn't enough. You want more. So it's cool to see authors who love the work come back and say, okay, we're going to write the story of Vasquez, or we're going to write the story of Hicks or Hudson, or explain events that you only briefly saw in the movie, but you saw the aftermath, right? Shit like that is so cool. Batman vs. Alien? Yeah, they did that. Yeah, I think they also did Predator. They did a lot of weird crossovers. But people do love the Dark Horse stuff. That's something everyone talks about quite fondly. Less is more. It is, because it lets your imagination kind of take hold and just you figure out what's going on in your own head. Which, headcanon, right? It's like some of the coolest shit. I wish I could get a Warhammer box. One sec. Ooh. Some of the coolest stuff is kind of, and this goes for anything. Anything with a lot of, detail, or, like, as an example, this is an old box art for the Dwarf Warriors. This image alone, you kind of get to see a glimpse of what's happening, but then your imagination can kind of fill in the blanks, like, who are they fighting? How big is the army? Where the hell are they fighting? What are they fighting for? Like, what's going on here? How many clans warriors are coming over? Like, there's just so many different little tidbits in images or in movies, you know, little set dressings, a piece of furniture, or just something so small that can have such a big story. Or you just want to know more about it because it's not the main focus, right? It's just cool. A picture is worth 1,000 words. It's cool shit, man. The second trilogy of Star Wars. Second trilogy. The sequel trilogy. Wait, hold up. The original trilogy or the prequel? The sequel trilogy is shit. Subjective opinion, it's shit. It's not that fun. 2000s? Okay, so the prequel trilogy. The original trilogy came out first, and then they did the prequels, then they did the sequels. Pulp Fiction briefcase. I know what you're talking about. I've seen Pulp Fiction. I just can't remember why. This one is H. Pulp Fiction has a big following, though. A lot of, like, culty movies like that kind of never fade. Everyone loves that movie if you've seen it. And if you can remember it. Like watching stuff in chronological... Yeah, okay. So you do the prequels first, then the original, then the sequel. Then you can watch the spin-off series, you know, like The Mandalorian and... Book of Boba Fett. Ugh. Book of Shite. Book of Disney. Book of ruining a cool character for no reason. Outside of Disney. Fucking shit show. Yeah, Empire's cool. I think Empire is the best of the three, but admittedly, I'm more interested in the filmmaking of Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi has a bunch of cool shit. Certainly an emphasis on aliens and weird creatures and background and stuff like that. Fuck no, their nipples are like all pierced up, bro. They're freaks. Disney Strikes Back. Disney is very out of touch. Disney is extremely out of touch. I love practical effects. I always believe practical effects are better than CG stuff, but I can understand why you'd need to have CG, because some things are just not achievable, period. Ahsoka's pretty good. The good thing about Ahsoka is they take it seriously. It's not the Book of Boba Fett, where you got Boba Fett, like, just being a fucking idiot, and Fennec Shand cracking jokes left and right, and the action just not making any sense, the direction being garbage. I think, if you're a big, like... I didn't see Rebels, I don't like the style of it, but as someone who enjoys Star Wars, and enjoys serious Star Wars, I found Ahsoka to be more mature and taking itself seriously. Mandalorian is a good show. Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were good, and then 3 was shit. Hayden Christensen was good playing Anakin. He was young, and I feel like he got a lot of shit. That wasn't Hayden Christensen. That was another guy. I forgot his name. He got a lot of shit for playing young Annie. For some reason, people hated the guy. I don't know why. Bunch of fucking losers. Because now, like, people want signatures. People want everything. People love Star Wars so much. They always have. Second and third movie. Well, I did pretty good. Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith is the best of the three. For sure. Love practical because it allows the actor to interact with the objects instead of having to pretend. Well, that as well, but also from, like, an artistic point of view. Like, you're creating works of art, physical props, life-size weapons, clothing, gear. You're taking a made-up universe and making it reality. And that's some of the coolest fucking shit ever. Like, tangible, real props that you can hold that were, like, manufactured by a single artist or a group of small artists, just whatever it may be, you know, it's phenomenal. It will forever beat out CG, in my opinion. But, you know, there was Ian McKellen was on the set of The Hobbit, and he was apparently crying because he was missing interacting with people while acting. Because he sat in a big green screened room, like, where are the people? Where's my not co-workers, but you know what I mean? Where are the other people I'm fucking interacting with? So, my co-stars, there you go. CG has a place, but old school movie making, practical effects, movie magic, handmade product, it's just so much different. Anyone who dismisses it, it's a fucking clown, period. That's all I gotta say. But an opinion's an opinion. That's fine. Sitting in front of a green screen, only the door frame with a hobbit hole. Who knows? Who knows? I saw the older X-Men movie. Movies, I should say. Older Marvel movies, older X-Men movies. None of the new ones, not really interested. Current Marvel seems like the most boring shit ever, and that's my opinion, but I've never really been a big Marvel fan in general, so I guess I'm kind of just saying that as it is. Right now I'm just sorting stuff. I'm trying to get shit where it needs to be. We met on Discord, unironically. You can feel the effort in the films having a guy climb into a xenomorph suit. Well, yeah, but, I mean, one of the big things is just go watch all the behind-the-scenes of older movies you love, and you'll see exactly why people love them so much. It's not that CG isn't challenging, but creating physical costumes and sets and making things real from nothing, and then shooting it with different lighting and camera techniques and everything, like, you don't get that shit often today. The Boys and Invincible. Yeah, I heard they were pretty good. DC and Marvel, to me, lost their touch. Yeah. I'm not really a big fan of that stuff anymore, but I don't really hear a lot of many people, like, praising it too often, you know? The last movie I watched was The Dial of Destiny. I watched 2 movies recently. The Last Voyage of the Demeter and The Dial of Destiny, the final Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford. The Demeter was actually pretty good until about 75% into the film, and then it was like, okay, I'll go with it. It's not that good, but, like, okay. That movie was like a 6.5 out of 10. I think that's what most people gave it. The Dial of Destiny, on the other hand, just felt so lackluster. Felt kind of just boring. Like, no big threats. Like, the big action scenes were kind of just whatever. Indiana Jones is not like he once was. It just kind of... When I was watching it, it was like I was watching a miserable old man kind of hate what he was doing, but be forced into it, type of deal. And that's... Harrison Ford's kind of that guy, a little bit. You know, he's not like the most spry dude out there. Like, he's not too excited with a lot of stuff. But I feel like the directing for him, what they did to him, just didn't feel like Indiana Jones. It just felt like an old guy who hated it. Early era MCU was badass, but after Endgame it went downhill for sure. People like the Spider-Man stuff, yeah. The only Spider-Man stuff I'm aware of that I watched was the Raimi. Well, he's an older guy for sure, but, like, he's... I don't know. It just... The movie felt like it wasn't even about Indy. It was about his granddaughter, whatever. Like, she kind of took center stage. Obviously, they're setting her up to be the next successor to Indiana Jones. But... I didn't feel the movie, man. I thought Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was like a 6.5. Or 5.5. 5 to 6. Maybe people are too harsh these days on ratings. Everyone today's a critic. Crystal Skull. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the only reason they bring these people back is because... Well, you know, I think Harrison Ford actually did want to do another one, so that's great on him. But then they wrote him to be miserable. So, unlucky. Okay, what's next? The Drake guns. Caesar, thank you, man. The thing about these franchises, though, is, like, again, like, Harrison Ford wanted to come back, but some people that don't, whoever owns the rights, they can dig up that franchise all they want. They can bring back people from the dead. They can keep the money flowing. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Yeah, I think I need a different type of music. Not bad, though. It's pretty chill. I don't know if it's 100% dwarf stuff, though, but... I know a lot of people play Dwarf Fortress. Shit. Bruh. Anime? No, I don't watch anime. I never grew up with it. So... Because I'm pretty sure most people grew up with, like, Dragon Ball, and then that spawned other things. Makes me wish I was there to experience it. Nah. Everyone's childhood is different, man. Just because, like... You'll always hear the people born well before you say, back in my day it was better. But that's all you knew. Is there anything... Let me ask you this. When you were a kid, the things you were surrounded with, is it better today? Have you found things you enjoy currently in the world that are better than the things you grew up with? Because I think that's kind of the question. Yes. Some people... Some people will say no. I, for one, think out of everything I grew up with, like, accessible music is way better now. Not actual music, but, like, I guess what's changed is accessibility. Accessibility is so big. Like, it's fucking amazing. You know, some people love owning a million physical copies of DVDs, VHSs, shit like that, but it takes up so much space, and unless you're really into it, you're not doing that. Some people are blinded by nostalgia. I don't think I am. I think I've embraced nostalgia more lately, and I've liked life more because of it. But at the same time, I still love a lot of shit today. Like current things coming out, or well, current things coming out. Admittedly, the world's in a shittier spot for sure. Like, I don't know, bro. The world's falling apart right now, but you couldn't have it versus being an adult within reason. You can get what you want. Oh yeah, for sure. Things were more magical back then because, like, yeah, if you work a bunch, you have money, you can spend the money on whatever. But as a kid, it's like, Mom, can I get this? I've seen VHS. Yeah, they made a few of them. No, I'm very happy. I think I'm the happiest I've been in. I think this is probably the peak happiness in my life outside of my childhood that I can't go back to. For currently where I am in life, I'm very happy. Again, I'm taking up older hobbies. I'm diving back into what made me happy when I was a kid. Like, there's a bunch of cool shit coming out, great music, great movies sometimes, cool shows, games. You know, they're coming out with, like, really up-to-date things on old franchises that are fucking phenomenal. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Shitposting is my favorite. We all have our little pastime hobbies. Yeah. Well, I used to... You'd get, like, one game every year. For me, at Christmas, that was the only time I got games. Or when I would save enough money from doing chores and things around the neighborhood, and I'd go buy games. Yo, Connor, thank you for the 5, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. At what age do you think childhood ends? For me, never, because I still enjoy the stuff I loved as a child to this day. I did Warhammer as a child. I loved Star Wars as a child. I loved Lego. All the stupid nerdy shit that still is around today was around when I was a kid. Gaming, music. What's with the shitty zoom? And the focus is so dog-ass. Oh well. These are my favorite streams to watch. Ice mode, yo buddy. Thank you, man. Blockbuster renting games and movies was the good old days. When I didn't blow all my money on Pokemon booster packs. Hey, whatever brings you happiness, man. Skull and Bones? No, I'm not playing Skull and Bones. I don't really... Hang on. The thing about gaming is I don't like spending money on games because I find I'm going to play it for 20 minutes and be done. And that sometimes even happens for games that are tied to a franchise that I love. But I feel with very specific games coming out soon, that's not going to be the case. Like, I genuinely want to play Space Marine 2. What else do I want to play? I want to play Total War again when the DLC comes out for the dwarves. Like, holy shit. To me, that's hype as fuck. The Moria game, where you can play the entire game in Kuzdul. The literal language of the dwarves. Like, what the fuck? That's kind of cracked. Rogue Trader? Nah. I like 40k, but I'm not like... Nah, probably not for me. Playing Dawn of War 2. That's a good game, yeah. I prefer Dawn of War 1 in the expansions, but 2 was pretty alright. The one thing I love about the Dawn of War games is whoever was in charge of hiring the voice actors, those guys are some of the best, if not the best, Warhammer voice actors to ever do any character. It is so damn insane. I met Fred Tatascore. I think Fred Tatascore played Captain Diomedes. Actually, no, I don't think he did. I met Fred Tatascore recently, and I talked to him about Warhammer. And he remembered... It wasn't him. He remembered a lot of stuff that he had done for Warhammer. I think he did a bunch of Space Marines, Eldar. He did Nurgle, like a Great Unclean One. And, like, it's just so damn good. It's so good, man. Speed Freaks? No, I've seen the game, though. I kept buying CDs for movies till 2015. I stopped a long time ago. I also stopped purchasing physical music, even though I still support the bands, and I probably should because I like physical music. I just don't have space for it. Well, I'm gonna be playing the Space Marine game. Well, dwarves are just really cool, man. They embody a lot of things that I kind of, feel like I'm somewhat, unfortunately, very, accustomed to. Because it wasn't always dwarves, it was goblins, orcs, humans. At one point, it was a bunch of random shit. But I think the one thing with dwarves that everyone can kind of get on with, and at least appreciate them in some capacity, is a sense of, like, honor. Revering the ancestors, you know, going back and thinking, man, my father, my grandmother, my bloodline, my loved ones. You know, everyone loves their family. Unless your family's a bunch of pieces of shit. 99% of everyone, I'm sure, loves their family, you know? And to have a race kind of revere that and, you know, honor past ones and shit like that quite highly, it's probably a big sticking point for a lot of people. No, I'm not vertically challenged. I think everyone... I believe dwarves are probably one of the most popular fantasy races, period. I would even argue people like more dwarves today than elves. Because of a lot of things kind of popularizing them, but if you kind of dig into their lore, there's a lot more things to appreciate than just them being very badass. People got tired of elves. Dwarven Dad on YouTube would agree. I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that guy. I don't think there's been any content lately where elves have been king. What's a show that had elves lately, outside of the Rings of Power? And that, I don't think, was received very well, so... Or music, or any content. They're not making a fucking elven game where you're colonizing, or not colonizing, but like, actually, yeah, like some sort of forest or some shit, you know? People just don't... Baldur's Gate 3, okay, Baldur's Gate 3, sure. Maybe that might spark some interest in elves again, maybe. Probably other things, but... to each his own. I know Baldur's Gate 3 did nothing for me with dwarves. That's why I'm not playing it. That shit is whack as hell. That is a wretched dwarf experience. There is not an ounce of character in any dwarf in that game. They don't even sound like dwarves. Shite. It's poo-poo. You'd have to, post it in the Discord, man. I can also just Google it, which is totally fine. People are going crazy over the elf vampire in Baldur's Gate 3. You know who voices that guy? Is the guy who voiced Heisenberg in, the Resident Evil game. And everyone liked that guy. That guy was cool. But I don't like Astoria. That too many... Nah, bro. You're a vampire? And you're an elf? Oh, God. Two L's. That's wretched. The guy who voiced Heisenberg in the latest Resident Evil Village, I believe it was. Yeah, it's the same voice actor. He's really good. Good God. Yeah, he's a cool guy. And this shit is gonna take forever. My brain is so rotten over just trying to figure out what's what, but oh well. Okay, axe. Maybe. Microwaving eggs is something I did growing up, though. You put it in like a little dish, a glass dish or something. Do microwaves poison your food? As if so, we're all dead. Good God. Nope. Nope. Air fryer, steam. Yeah, everyone uses an air fryer these days. I don't own one. Although I'm sure they're very damn good. Really, really good. Air fryers go for how much? $100? $60? $50? $50? Yeah, yeah. The only appliance I've invested in lately was rice cooker. And I think rice cookers are fucking so good. Super, super useful. Put some rice, put some veggie, done. Leave it for 20 minutes, come back. Got mine for 40 to 50. Yeah. I typically buy shit from Amazon. Just easier. And you get good deals. It is convenient. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever, for fuck's sake. Why does my brain force me to do this? Yeah, I did see it. I won't be buying it, because I don't fucking care about the Emperor. But I think for people that do, it's very, very cool. Surprised they never made an Emperor Mini. Yeah, all these shoulder pads have different designs, and they all kind of pair up specifically to certain bodies. So whenever I cut these out a long time ago, I didn't think about that. I just kind of threw them all in. But everything I own is sorted well. Because brain rot, you know? So I'm going through and looking, like, as an example, if you want to see what I'm looking at. So there's like, I think 6 different designs for just this alone, and then there's like 6 different designs for each other shoulder pad type of deal. So it's very time consuming. They're all different logos and well, not logos, but different designs. Zoom or something. Wow, the focus is so garbage. Sure, you didn't, it doesn't matter anyways. These are Warhammer pieces. Warhammer pieces. Games Workshop. James Workshop. Well, they even have, what's crazy is, this armor is supposed to be very ornate to begin with, but what's interesting is, hang on. See how there's a design on the shoulder pad? Like, there's a big embossed filigree, or whatever you'd call that. But there's also, on the actual shoulder pad, there's different, like, little intricate designs. Like, on the flat surface, it's not so flat, it's kind of raised up. That's not what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for the big, weave-looking pattern. Yeah. This camera will never focus. It's a pile of shit. Oh, it focused. How we doing? Pretty good. We're just, slaving away trying to get this done. Trying to get this done. Okay. I just threw them in the wrong bin. Oh my god, the brain rot. The OCD. Whatever you want to call it, it's hell. That's okay, though. Vampire counts. Vampires are all about resurrecting shit and being absolute cunts. Vampires, bad people. All right, round 2. Tomb Kings. Oh yeah, Tomb Kings 2. Yeah. I think vampire counts are more cuntish about it though. Like they're not very Who's worse, a vampire count or a Tomb King? Probably a count. Probably a count. Okay. Hammer. Vampire counts have literal necromancer units. Yeah. Yeah, you basically roll a dice and you can bring more units back from the dead. Even if, when you have zombies in the game as well, it's like every time you kill something, you roll a dice, and I think it's like on the roll of a 6, you gain another unit for your squad because they become a zombie. I think at one point that was a rule. Yeah, Kemmler's a piece of shit. He's also, I believe, one of the most OG Warhammer characters, if not the most OG. I don't remember how Kemmler died. Although I would assume not very ceremoniously. Most necromancers probably don't even deserve those deaths. They need worse. Bunch of bastards. Oh, there you go. Imagine turning on... Yeah, no. Kind of done in. Done in pretty good. Okay. How much more of this? I don't think I'm going to do the other box today. Fuck that. It's a whole box of, like, Longbeards or something. I think I'll finish this and then head probably to bed. It's 1:30, Evan? Yeah. Probably to bed after this. Too much shit to organize. Too much. Well, Vampire Coast is supposed to be coming out for tabletop soon. I believe they were confirmed. So there is that. If you're confirmed, it's just a matter of time. Right? Games Workshop's going to have a bunch of GW is going to have so much fucking product, it's insane. Like, how many miniatures are they going to be producing once the old world comes back? Holy shit. It's absurd how many they've got going. Necrofex? Oh yeah, they're going to do a Necrofex, 100%. I believe they did say the Vampire Coast was a legitimate thing they're working on. They're doing a Necrofex if so. 100%. And a Rotting Leviathan and all that shit. Deck droppers and everything. I'm working on my Iron Jaws. Nice. I am falling asleep organizing fucking shoulder pads. Don't dismiss Games Workshop just yet, because, like, they brought back so many things from the past. And they're explicitly doing fantasy because of Total War Warhammer, where they had the Vampire Coast and all that shit, so makes sense. It's coming. Just give it time. Cathay is physical. Kislev, yep, yep. Pale orcs with black armor. That's cool. That'll look really good. Black armor always looks good on orcs. It's like black with the white. Black with, like, white checkers or white, like, dags or something like that. Looks really, really good. I miss the black orcs of fantasy. Okay, round 3000. Hold up. Well, this is just brain rot. You don't have to do this, man. This is like... I had a big... Like, typically what I do is whenever I go through my storage, which I went through and kind of found all the rest of my shit, I believe, I assimilate it into my new system. If there's any extra bits or things in boxes, I cut them out, throw them into a bin, and then put them in this room. And when you're building miniatures, it's not like this. It's just... I like having everything pieced out properly if I'm not going to be making the kit anytime soon. Also because it saves space, what I do is I typically cut every bit out of the sprue, so the box becomes completely empty, and then I flatten the box and put the box in another box. Because miniatures take up a lot of space if you don't pull them off sprues. If you don't actively try and, like, downsize them, you can have a mound of these things. They call it the pile of shame. Leagues of Votan. I was at a Games Workshop recently, and I think I saw 3 people checking out with Dark Angels. 3 people checking out with the same Dark Angel stuff. I'm like, man, Dark Angels are real popular, eh? Probably the Lion. Yeah, true. Last Primarch that was released. You're right, you're right. Next. Yeah, the Fulgrim Mini was really good, except it's 30k and it's resin. So enjoy Fulgrim. Anything could be therapeutic to people. So yeah, maybe. This, though, this is misery. I'm sick of this shit. Good grief! The new greenskins look really good, though, yeah. The new AOS greenskins look pretty damn nice, actually. For 40k, though, I'm not sure. Because we just got a shit ton of new greenskins for 40k, so why the hell would they go back and give us more, you know? They do that with Space Marines, but those are Space Marines. Oh, fantasy? Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. Whoa, that's fucking me up. Biggest model? Currently nothing. I don't think there's any dwarf models that are actually large. I used to have a Stompa, used to have a Baneblade. I think those were like the biggest that I've owned ever. Never had a Titan or anything like that, but when I was growing up, people who had Forge World were the super rich ones. The crazy people who do the airbrushing and, oh my god, you work with resin? Forge World is no joke. And their prices get worse and worse every year, too. But then again, everything gets worse and worse every year. Not even just prices, just living. Had too much money. Yeah, people... Forge World is quite normal. It's like very assimilated into regular GW these days. Okay. I mean, accessibility is a big thing within hobbies, right? It's like, if you could have more people purchasing your products, that's pretty good for you, man, as a business, right? You're winning. Although, to be fair, that doesn't really work for Forge World. I think Forge World's just more normalized. And they're releasing a lot of stuff that people want on Forge World, so there's also that. Like, before, Forge World was definitely, super exclusive, you know, yeah, like, if you bought everything else and you wanted Forge World stuff, sure. ABC backwards? Fuck no. I can't even remember what I said 3 seconds ago. My brain is too consumed with this shit right now, and it's just hurting. Hyper-focusing on something like this is just making me feel like, throwing up. But I'm almost done. I'm just gonna do these shoulder pads, and I'm calling it, because this is, the highest form of, pointless shit. These are just really stupid things to be doing. All right. Yeah, Venomverse, peace, man. Take it easy, bud. I'm going to bed, too, in 5 minutes, probably. I'm way done with this shit. Sonic comics? Hell no. Consider using AI-powered cameras to do the sorting. I wish. Wish, man. Wish, brother. Just read the Beano comics. I don't know if they're a thing over the... I have no clue. To be honest, I'm not very current with comics. I feel like I should be. Because they released a bunch of, Return of the Jedi comics, and I kind of like that stuff. But I just haven't really looked into it, I suppose. Like, comics have never really been a thing for me. Not as much as they are for other people, at least. But I know they're very, very popular right now. People will always love comics, always invest in comics. People have million-dollar comic collections. They're crazy, man. Okay, we're almost done. No. Favorite X-Men? Juggernaut. Marvel, not X-Men. Yeah, I like Juggernaut. Bro, I like Bane and Zangief. What do you think? Okay, holy shit, I think we're done for now. I feel like throwing up. This is, ridiculous for something so small. Gambit's alright. He's cool, but mostly Juggernaut. Yeah, I just gotta figure out where these go, and I'm done. Oh yeah, TF is completely. I mean, most characters are kind of straight up rips of other things, no? Makes sense. Holy shit. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I'm done. I feel so sick. Holy shit. I don't think I'll be doing much on either stream, to be honest. Like, if I come here, I'm just kind of just working on some random dumb thing. Nothing meaningful. Nothing crazy. And then for the other stream, we're just chilling with League, so that's fine too. Horde mode was added. Yeah. Did they make it so it's only X amount of waves, though, and then after the X amount of waves, you're done? Because that's pretty fucking lame. It should be survive until you die. Yeah, Connor, peace, man. I'm getting out of here. More to do, but not right now. Too tired. Too tired. I heard endless. I'd give it a try if it's endless. We'll see. But I gotta go, folks. Be well, stay safe. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's not really much of a stream, but hey, if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. That's chill. That's usually how we do things here anyways. So take care, be well, and have a good night, folks. Peace, peace.